And I really like watching like UFC, for example, but that's because I also like doing the sport.
Wrestling is fun. Jiu-Jitsu is even more fun.
It really is the best sport. Like 5 minutes in, I was like, where has this been my whole life?
MMA アニメベスト MMA ショップ
And then I go do something physical for an hour or two and just kind of reset myself. And over time, what I've found is that it's not actually just, I used to run a lot, but the problem with running is you can think a lot while you're running. So I've, especially over the last couple of years, I've gotten really into things that require full focus. So, at the beginning of COVID, I mentioned that I spent a bunch of time in Kauai. Our family has a ranch down there, and like I spent a lot of time foiling and surfing. And it's like if you're foiling or surfing and you're on like a wave, you have to pay attention the whole time, right? Or else you're gonna fall. Yeah, and this is sort of how I got into MMA too. Is after now I don't spend as much time in Kauai because things are ramping back up and I'm in the office a lot more. So it's like, all right, there's not as much foiling in Palo Alto. So it's like, all right, what's a thing that is both like just super engaging physically but also intellectually, and where you can't afford to focus on something else? And I think to some degree it's like MMA is like the perfect thing, because it's like if you don't like you stop paying attention for 1 second, you're gonna end up on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. So I've just found that is then like after an hour or two of working out or rolling or wrestling with friends or training with different folks, it's like now I'm ready to go solve whatever problem at work for the day, and like I've fully processed all the different news for the day that's come in, and we're just ready to go.
How did you get introduced to martial arts training? Like, how long ago was this?
It was in the last 12 months, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because it was basically I used to just run a lot and just do that, and then basically since COVID, it's like got super into surfing and foiling, then got really into MMA.
So how did you initially approach it? Like, how did you get a trainer? Like, what did you do? There's
actually this really interesting connection between people who surf and do jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah. So a lot of similarities.
So a bunch of the guys who I do that with, they kind of have gyms in Kauai, and the crazy thing is like I've I don't know. I mean, it really is the best sport. I don't. The question isn't how did I get into it. It's how did I not know about it until just now. From the very first session that I did, like 5 minutes in, I was like, where has this been my whole life? It's like, all right, my mom made me do 3 varsity sports, and like my life took a wrong turn when I chose to do fencing competitively instead of wrestling in high school or something, right? It's like there's something that's just so primal about it. That's I don't know. And I've since then I've just introduced a bunch of my friends to it, and that's been really fun because now it's like we train together and we just like wrestle together, and just I don't know. There's like a certain intensity to it that I like.